Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. A newly released study by the largest reinsurance company in the world found that climate change would cost the global economy 18% of GDP by 2050, including 10% of U.S. GDP. While some have said that transitioning to renewable energy is too expensive or that it kills jobs, with every passing day and every passing disaster, it becomes more and more clear that the cost of inaction is far higher than the cost of creating a modern, sustainable, clean energy economy. So, Mr. Walsh, will a transition to a clean energy economy coupled with strong coordination with our global partners to combat climate change be beneficial for our economy and our nation in the long run?
Thank you for the question, Senator. I think it would. And actually, the first analysis I would point to is one by the Rhodium Group that Senator Wyden entered into the record at the start of this hearing, which shows net job creation of roughly 600,000 jobs annually over a 10-year period. That's only looking at decarbonizing the electricity sector. Obviously, we have to do this economy-wide. Bottom line, we're going to have to manufacture and install and operate and maintain an enormous amount of new generation capacity, along with transmission lines and energy storage to make that possible. And that will create an enormous number of jobs. I think the bigger challenges will be, one, ensuring that these jobs are high quality and accessible and across the full value chain, including manufacturing. Two, targeting investment and the jobs it creates to parts of the country where that investment and job creation has lagged to date. And three, which is very much related to two, ensuring that workers and communities that have relied on fossil energy sources are not left behind.
Absolutely. So we use our tax code to incentivize private sector investment in areas that fit the public good. And I think we've established that acting on climate is an economic imperative, and that our continued reliance on fossil fuels not only harms public health and our environment, but also our economy. And that clean energy technologies have the potential to create millions of good-paying jobs right here at home. Yet the United States continues to subsidize the fossil fuel industry to the tune of billions of dollars every year. Instead of moving us in the right direction, my Republican colleagues used the 2017 tax bill to give even more handouts to big oil. I previously introduced the Close the Big Oil Tax Loopholes Act to try to correct some of these taxpayer subsidies to corporate polluters, and I'm working towards reintroducing that legislation. I know the chairman has worked to incorporate some of these principles into his Clean Energy for America Act as well, which I support. And I hope we can work together to move the parts of the tax code in the right direction. And speaking of the right direction, last year, PSE&G, the parent company for New Jersey's largest electricity utility, announced that it was divesting its fossil fuel assets. At the same time, they maintain a 25% stake in the Ocean Wind project in federal waters off of our state. Ms. Pope, as companies like yours face decisions on decarbonization going forward, in order to ensure a smooth transition, how vital is it that the tax code catches up to current market trends?
Thank you, Senator. It's definitely time to update the tax code to match current demands with new technologies, flexibility, and long-term certainty. The technology-neutral approach does this, and it does not pick winners and losers or lock in specific technologies, but is a good way to encourage innovation and incent clean energy deployment. Your example in PSEG's offshore wind is a great example. And certainly that long-term tax policy is critical to utilities who routinely engage in long-term planning and invest in long-lived assets, 20 to 40 years or more. Tax incentives also help keep customer prices affordable, especially when designed to ensure that the full credits reach customers. Tax policy needs to be paired with continued federal funding for research, development, and deployment of emerging technologies. including the offshore wind that you were talking about, but also renewable hydrogen, long-term storage, and smart grid advances. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Menendez.